Good morning from Olympia, Washington. Thanks for coming to my stream. My name is Bobby Johnson, and it's Sunday, February 17th of 2019. About 11 a.m. here on the West, and it's a fairly dreary day. We don't have any rain, but it's overcast, as typically it's, this part of the country. I had a pretty eventful week on the home front. You might have seen a stream that I did with Adrian Hall where I had to end it abruptly to find out why there was a fire truck in my front yard. Uh, Turns out my father-in-law had fallen. They were actually taking him to get a CT scan. And everyone in my house thought I was in a meeting in my office, so they didn't want to interrupt me while I was working. So I was sitting here chit-chatting with Adrian and happened to look out the window and like see firemen staring in at me, and I had to drop everything and go figure out what was going on. It was funny. Anyway, he's doing fine. The CT scan didn't show anything, so all's good. And I didn't get a chance to do my own stream at the. I thought I'd do a pop-up stream, and just hack on some code. I saw that C Sharp Fritz created a team on Twitch. Hop over here and take a look at this. This is pretty cool. Live coders team. Looks like NoOpCat is actually. But that's the reason nobody's watching me. She's got 266 people watching her. Okay, but anyway, he created a team since he made Partner, and was able to insert some people into this. And these are like literally the people that I watch when I go to watch Twitch streams, developers. So I wanted to come up with a schedule for myself to do reoccurring streams and kind of get on a schedule of doing it quite a bit, right? And I thought what would be cool is if I could query this team to gather all of the people that are members of it, and then maybe query their events, where I could build out like a little calendar of when they're scheduled to be streaming, and that might help me identify some time slots to be able to insert myself to where I'm not stepping over people like NoOpCat and just getting no audience because everybody's off watching Herbie out. I started looking into that, and what I discovered was that the API that Twitch offers doesn't contain events information. Kind of bizarre. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have such a core feature. It seems like scheduling events right into their UI would lead to like some scriptability that to advertise when you're going to be streaming and hook in other platforms. Kind of surprised to find it didn't have an API that includes. Oh, hey, Lennon BR. Thanks for being here. Yeah, he's totally fine. He's actually right now. It's just him and I in the house. So if I happen to hear him making noise or something like that, I may put you guys on pause while I go check in on it. Yeah. So there's no events API that I can hook into, grab that information. So that reminded me of some code that I wrote about a year ago. I went to NodeConf Argentina with Glenn Block, and we did a workshop there where we spent about 4 hours teaching Webtask.io, which is like a serverless platform. And one of the things I did in preparation for that was I wrote a little web task that could fetch the schedule for NodeConf Argentina and give you like a little command line sort of interface to it that would, you could say something like, show me the schedule for day 1. And NodeConf Argentina didn't have an API either that I could query. And what I did was I used a combination of request and Cheerio to reach out and screen scrape their website. The way that worked was pretty nice. I liked the way that it came out. I could basically use requests to pull the schedule page. I could filter that out to get the events for all of the events in a day, and then pass that through Cheerio to basically scrape the HTML and create a JSON structure. I thought I might try taking a stab at doing that for these Twitch pages, right? So if I can scrape the team page to get all the names and usernames of people on the given team, then I can just cycle through that array, basically doing hitting their events page and pulling out any future events, right? The audio does? Let me check something real quick. I put a noise gate on my microphone, and that might be messing it up. So let me try removing it and see if that makes my voice come in a little clearer. Let me know in the chat if that's coming through clear now. Hey, Mike Jolly, good to see you here. Thanks for joining me. I was just kind of explaining what I was planning on hacking on today. Basically, I want to take some code that I wrote last year for NodeConf Argentina and kind of adapt it to do some screen scraping of the Twitch's team page and the events page for a given user to pull out basically a JSON structure showing me the upcoming events for everybody on that stream team. So let's hop into an editor and start hacking on that code. All right, so here we are. The first thing I want to do is just go ahead and do some housekeeping, kind of bootstrap a Node application. So and I'm just going to go ahead and accept the defaults. That's fine. Then let's see, what do we have in here? We just have a package JSON. So I know I'm going to want to git ignore, so I'm just going to grab one from another project. What other projects do I have here? Oh, I'll take the one from Broxburn. All right. All right. Git status. So I have my ignore, my package. I should probably create a README in there. All right, and I'll just put a minimum amount of information in there. So where am I picking this up at? That one right there. All right, load it up. I think that's enough for an initial commit. And then I'm going to just go ahead and create a GitHub repository for that. If you guys want to follow along or track this repository, it's github.com/notmyself/schedule-stream-team. Let's see, what else do we need? Probably need a JavaScript file to start with. Let's go ahead and point npm at that. And then verify that's working the way I expect it to. Give it a shot. Yep, that works the way I expect it to. So that's cool. So I'm going to jump over here to the browser and I'm just going to copy that script wholesale to get started with. Back to my editor. Let's see, we're probably not going to be pushing this into Slack, so I'm just going to get rid of that that particular thing. And if you guys are interested in looking at what the script does, I'll pop a link in here for you. Landon BR, are you still experiencing that after I changed the filter settings? And there's your link for you. Let me try backing off my mic a little bit. Maybe I'm pegging out my audio and it's causing a little screeching. Let me know if that's too low. So back to the code here real quick. Oh, after the settings change, it was all right. Okay, cool. Thank you. So let's see, what functions else do we also have in here? So it should come down to just a handful. We're not really doing this command map stuff, so I don't really need that. I don't need these constants at the moment. I'm not really going to be doing this as a web task, so I don't really need the module export. Get schedule. This is just using request. Okay. Get events for days. That's filtering. I'm probably not going to be filtering. And then we have parse. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment this out to where I can look at it later. And what do I want to return with a parse page? I'm just going to return maybe just a JSON object, because that's really what I want to get out of this. Get schedule, export. So let's see, I don't need this titleize reference anymore, but we do need request and Cheerio as packages, so I'm going to go ahead and add those. All right. And I probably want to save those as well. All right. My packages are good. And so I think what I want to start with is getting the team page. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to comment out some of this other stuff too. I don't know if I'm going to need this or not, so I'm just kind of dumping it down towards the bottom of the page. I can come back and clean it up later. So I think what I want to start with is something along the lines of get team page. Then I want to parse the team members. Then I want to what? Parse the team members. I want to get team members events, I think. Team member events. Then I basically want to do something with those events. And on the off chance that I get an error, I want to do something with that. I know the final then here is kind of my happy path. So at the very end of that, or not promise, process, I want to exit. Is it end? Not abort. I don't want abort. Yeah, exit. Exit. So this is going to be a happy path exit. So I'll exit with 0. And this is an error, so I'm just going to end with a non-happy path exit there. So let's see, I need a method called getTeamPage. I need a method called parseTeamMembers. And what is that going to take? I'll get to that when I get to it. Probably just a page, right? So I'm going to get the page and then I'm going to hand it off to this parsing mechanism. I expect that to return probably an array. So return the array. Let's see, get team member events. Oh, helps if I actually call this a function. Okay. And what is this going to take? It is going to take the team members. So take members into it. And that's probably going to return an array to me as well. All right. And that should be an array that can be used here in events. So I'm just going to dump that out to the console for the time being. And I'm not sure how big this JSON object I'm getting here might be, so I'm going to use utility to inspect it and dump it out. So util So by passing util inspect a parameters object with a single value for depth equal to null, it's basically saying traverse the entire object and dump it out to the console, which should give me a nice display of it basically. Let's see. I might as well do this as well for my error. We'll want to actually see those errors. See what comes out of it. So we have request. What's the page we want to get? So const team page URL. I can grab that from the browser over here. I'm going to start with the live coders team page. Let's see. Dump that on in there. That'll start. So get team page really is just a request. Get the team page URL, but I actually want to pass that back out. Return. And let's see. Parse team members right here. Going to be handing that in a page. How did I handle that down here? Get day, get schedule. Oh, I may have deleted what I wanted to look at. So back over to the browser. Yeah, so just a request get. And then we go immediately into, what is it? Parse page. Parse page, which takes me into Cheerio land. So back over to my editor. Get page, parse team members. Yep, and I have a page. That. Cheerio load. I think I'm just gonna console dump what's in Cheerio right now and see what it will show me. Let's do let's get the body of the page and take a look at it. And then I'm going to return an array. That's me coming out of here. No, out of here. I think I'm going to comment this line out and just start running the application, see what it does. So we're going to get the team page, which is here. Then we're going to parse the team members, which is here. And we're going to dump out whatever we get. You know what? I don't necessarily need to do that right here. I can just do, hey, return the contents of body. We should be able to run that and see the HTML element inside the body. So let's give it a shot. Oh, oh, that is not good.
What in the hell?
Yeah. Util in septic is not a function. Yeah. If only I could type.
There's nothing wrong with this brain.
Yeah. So where's that at? Inspect. And because I copied and pasted, I had the same error elsewhere. Cool. But that is nice. That kind of indicates that I either got all the way through to my my handler or I threw an error. So let's give it a shot again. All right, so what do we have? Tag body. Yeah, so I'm actually pulling the HTML body out. So that is working the way I would expect it to. So really what I need to be able to do is use this kind of parse syntax that I have for Cheerio here to pull out the elements that I want from that page. So let's take a look at the page. Back to the browser. We're looking at this page. What is it that I want to get? I want to find where this stuff is held. Maybe like right there. So we can look down here. Looks like there's a div called simple bar content that has, oh, that kind of sucks. There's a nested div in there that doesn't do anything. Is there any styling associated with that? Yeah, I guess a little styling. And then the actual content that I want is wrapped up inside these buttons. Let's see, figure. Div. Okay, there's an avatar. I do want to get the avatar image for each person. Let's see, what else do we have in here? And there is the username. I want to pull those out. Looks like there's an indicator as well for people who are currently broadcasting. I might want to pull that one out as well. Where's that stashed at? the next div, basically. They have horrible names in here, too. The class names tell you nothing about the data that's actually contained in the page. So my actual Cheerio code is going to look really bizarre. So I think what I need to start with is I need to grab all of the button elements contained within the simple bar content. All right, so back over to my editor. My page right here, Cheerio load page. I'm returning an object. So what I want to do is say return Cheerio. And Cheerio, if you're not familiar with it, is a like server-side implementation of jQuery. Right? So anything you can do with jQuery client-side, you can also do server-side with Cheerio. It's kind of a nice little library. Good for screen scraping tasks like this. So what I want is, let's see, what was it? I want to start with a class, simple bar. Simple bar content. All right. And what I really want is a descendant of that called button. Well, first let's see if we can pull the simple bar content out. See what that does. So, nope. Down here. I really need to figure out what the hotkey is to go between terminal and the text editor in Visual Studio Code. I can't keep taking my hand off the keyboard to put it on the mouse. It makes me look like a scrub, and I don't want to be a scrub. Yeah, where am I at? There we go. So, simple bar content, start. Did it actually give me something? I'm still getting body. Why am I still getting body? There. Let me try that again. That's interesting. So I'm getting the page. I'm handing it through to Cheerio. Let's see. What? HTML. Sure. Get me the HTML. Get rid of that. I am still just getting the body tag. TW root hover. Am I pulling that out wrong? Attribute ID, children, map, const events, text. Text. Yeah. Should be getting something. Here, let's try stepping through and see what we get. So let's add a node configuration here. All right, that works for me. Throw a breakpoint in there, and what was it actually set? Okay, it's just bypassing npm and running it directly. So let's see what we get there. Oh, I'm kind of silly. I've already seen what the problem is. Derp. I'm editing the wrong function. Why didn't you guys let me know? What's up? Okay, so back to Cheerio. We're pulling out body here. That's not what I want. I wanted the simple bar content. That. Get team page. There we go. That's what I get for leaving all this goo in here. I'm gonna get rid of the goo, because all it's doing is confusing me. I'm good enough at confusing myself. So there we go. Because I've got a good brain.
There's nothing wrong with this brain.
Yeah. Okay, so let's give that a try again. All right, what do we have now? Normalize white space. Attributes. I've got something different. XML false. I don't really see. Not seeing what I'm expecting in there. Let's try debugging it now. It's error. Getting the page. Here we are loading it up with Cheerio. So now let's try running it. All right, so I should have a page here. Yep, I got a big wad of HTML goo. And the very next thing is I should be using Cheerio to access that stuff. So I'll just go ahead and step over the return here. Ooh, get out of here. I don't want that. Go back to my code. Let's throw a breakpoint in my happy path and my not so happy path. Okay, so we got through to the happy path. What did it actually hand me? Is there anything I can drill through in here? Call stack, breakpoints. Here, let's add a watch to that. Command. How do I add a watch? That isn't going to do it, is it? No. Not doing code coverage. So. Oh, there we are. Events right in front of my face. Wow. Length of nothing. Options. I don't care about options. Initialize node. Yeah. There's nothing in there. Why would there be nothing in there? Huh. Here, let's change it up and try a different page. So I'm hitting Twitch right now, so I'll just copy that. Let's just try hitting Google. And we can see what the output should look like. So right now, I'm going to get that team page, get Google. I'm just going to grab the body. Or actually, I'll grab a form, because there should be a form element on Google's homepage. And pull that out and see what it looks like when we know it's good output. So, give it a shot again. Oh, I was debugging. All right, so I have a page. And it is Google's homepage. That's cool. So let's go ahead and continue. We came through to events, which I should have what? What do I have in here? Yeah, okay. So you can see right here, I pulled out a node. Like the events is an array, or an array-like object anyway. and it has one thing in it, which is a form. And that form has children, right? But I'm not seeing that with the Twitch page. So let's go back and set that back up and verify that I am seeing, I'm not insane. So let's see. Oh, we're debugging. Let's we'll go ahead and lower that one on out. Okay, so we did get HTML. I'm trying to capture a form now instead. So let's go ahead and back that out. Are there any forms on the page? Events? Length 0. No, we're not getting anything out of the page itself for a form. Maybe there isn't a form on that page, so let's go back to the simple bar content. Try it again. Okay. And we're still getting length 0. It's not finding a div with class simple bar content. Why would that be? What are we actually getting out of there? Let's see. Pull this page. We should be able to look at it and kind of poke around in it. So I'm going to debug again and just take a look at what we're actually getting and verify the content that I'm expecting is actually there. So here's my page variable. It's just a great big string. So I'm going to copy it. A new one. Wow, that is a ton of goo. But what we're looking for is this specifically in it. So let's see if we can find it.
What in the hell?
Okay, so simple bar content doesn't exist in the HTML I'm getting back. Wow, that's a lot of... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Back over here to the browser. None of this HTML is in there, and I think I know the mistake that I've made. I want to view the page source. Yeah, Twitch is a giant single page application. They don't actually send rendered markup when you do a request like that. And that's interesting because, or significant, I should say, because Cheerio very clearly states Cheerio is not a web browser. And if you need to execute JavaScript, you should probably be using something like PhantomJS or JSDOM. So that makes sense. The NodeConf Argentina website was a static, like Jekyll-based website or Gatsby-based website. And so it would have had just HTML and not a lot of JavaScript. So what I really need to do is I need to use something like PhantomJS to actually render the HTML, actually render the page, pull the rendered version out of that, and then pass it through Cheerio and pick out the data structures that I want. I haven't done that before. Well, I was really hoping this simple scraping method would work. Let's see. PhantomJS. How difficult does that look? Ooh, nice. Async await. Well, that doesn't look too bad. That's like, what, 8-9 lines to get the page content? So why don't we try using Phantom and see if we can get actual rendered HTML instead of just a bunch of JavaScript goo, because that goo's not going to help me. I don't want to save that. Get on out of there. Let's see. Let's start with getting ourselves some Phantom. We're saving it. Okay. And let's get a reference to it. And we're kind of taking the place of request here. We're actually using Phantom to fetch things, so I can probably get rid of request. Oh, misspelled promise. All right, cool. So, how the hell do we use Phantom? Let's see. We need to get an instance. Then we need to create a page with that instance. So let's start there. Editor. So Yep. That'll work. That should give me a page. I already have page defined. P. Create page, and then what am I going to do with that page? I'm going to open my URL. Turn. Team page. All right. And then I'm looking at the code sample on the Phantom npm page, just to get the basic structure down of what they're doing. So I want to pull out the content. Then what is that going to give me? That's going to actually give me the page again. So page. Turn page dot property. Content, like that. And then I should be able to just push that directly into my parse team members function, because effectively at that point we've got, if I'm reading this right, we've got the raw HTML out of the page. We probably do need to maintain the error handling and stuff here. That just get rid of this entire structure. That. And we're not really messing with team member events yet. We're just trying to get the rendered HTML out of the team page. So if this took a page object, no, I'm not going to mess with that right now. Let's see what we get. I pulled out instance and page because it looks like there's some cleanup stuff that needs to be done after you're done using Phantom to fetch stuff. So I should probably close the instance and see if page has some kind of cleanup as well. So happy path, get rid of my instance. Is there anything I need to do with the page as well? Dot catch Cheerio. Is that an exit? Is that actually a method there? All right. And then I probably want both of those statements as well for my unhappy path. Yeah. Okay. So we can start checking things out about right there. And then here and here to where we can see any errors or anything like that. Give it a shot. Hey, Rambling Geek, how's it going, man? All right, so it created the page, it opened the page just fine, and it passed that along. Oh, that's a status code, not the actual page itself. No, that's not going to work. That's going to fail. Const page. What is it? Oh, yeah. Clearly in the example, page open returns the status of that fetch. So this is just wrong. Status. Let's see. What was the status? If status. Let's just log it out. Console log. I think it was a success. Give that another go. All right, so what is it? Yeah, it's success. So status. I'll spell that right. Yay, thank you for my Arkansas education. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. So if the status is success, then I do want to return that. Return the content of the page. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw something. Throw. New error. I really want that to work. I'm not sure it's going to. Could not get the page. Is that going to work? How do you throw errors in JavaScript? I can't remember. Let's go look it up real quick. Throw exception JavaScript. No, it's just a throw statement. All right, that is actually kind of nicer than what I had. So back to my editor. I just took a guess. I figured it's got to be some kind of structure like that, right? This is a downside of being a polyglot developer. You have to look up simple things like that when you haven't done them in a while in a specific language. Okay, so I'm going to stop there if the status is success. Let's see what we actually get back. All right, the status is success. Now we're going to pull the page content, and that looks like a more legitimate Phantom object. So where's that going to go? It's going to go into parse team members, which should hand the page off, or hand the content off to Cheerio to begin pulling information out. And that's probably not the best approach to doing this at this point. I started out using Cheerio because I was using requests to fetch the page content. But running it through Phantom, there is probably a way to cut Cheerio out completely and just use Phantom to grab elements out of the rendered page. I'll handle that later. I want to make sure that Phantom is giving me the content that I want to pull out of it. So here we go. Let's see. Let's take a look at the page. What did we get? I'll do what I did last time. We can just pull this thing out of here. Nope. I don't know about you guys, but that looks exactly like what I was getting from request. It is just a big bunch of JavaScript goo. Well, I don't know. There is some legitimate HTML in there, right? Let's see if the element we're actually looking for is in there, though. Remember, it was the simple bar content. So, and there it is. Okay, so it is working the way I want it to. So theoretically, coming back through here and trying to pull simplebar.content out, let's see what that gives us. Continue. What are you doing? Come on, Visual Studio Code. Your debugger can work. You can do it. All right. Be Cornholio on me.
I am Cornholio. I need pity for my bunghole.
Wow, he's completely locked up. That's fun. Come on, Visual Studio Code. Catch up with me. Hey, OctaClicker worked. It was the 835th click that got it to respond to me. Hooray. Debugger attached. Hopefully you guys are laughing at my lame jokes.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Okay, let's give it one more try and see what kind of information we get. Turn page content. So continue on. Cheerio, load that page and return the content. Happy path. We have what? We have nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Why? Killed the instance. Ooh, we threw an error trying to exit the page. Page exit is not a function. Okay, well, that would explain why it blew up. Okay, so let's get rid of the page exits. Am I sure that's what it is? Page close is what I was looking for. So let's put that one back in. Scenes. So close and exit. I'm not getting the information out. Why is that? Cheerio, simple bar content. Let's go back and look at our example of using Cheerio. Is there some extra method that I need to pull out? So in my example for the NodeConf Argentina thing, I was basically pulling out 3 different elements and then mapping over each of those. I reinitialized Cheerio on each individual one. Adder, children. Mapping over that, getting events. There's text. That's for paragraphs. Huh. Maybe I'm not pulling it out right. Let's give that a shot. text and just see what it gives me. If not, I'll be forced to go look at documentation. Okay. Start. Give me something to work with here, Cheerio. No results found. Exit was called before waiting for the commands to finish. I'm not sure what that means. That is probably Phantom barking at me. Let's see. Let's go ahead and debug into it and see what we get as events. Alright, so I know that's pulling the page out properly the way I want it to, so I can just get rid of that breakpoint. We're doing the Cheerio load. It did not blow up, but what did it actually give me? It gave me an empty string. So calling text is probably not the right idea. So I am reduced to having to go look at documentation. So let's head back over to the browser. Cheerio, where you at? Where are your docs at? Join chat, sponsors, features. Selectors. Attributes. Wow, is their page all ganked up? That doesn't look good. Acquire. Load Cheerio. And then I want to get the things out of it. Well, there is an HTML method. What are they passing in? Let's try using the HTML method, because that's really what I want. I want the HTML content of that element. Oh, bring you back over here to the editor. So let's give that a try again. Hey, a winner is us. So we did get an HTML fragment. I don't know if it actually has all the information I would expect to be in there. What is this? TW full width. Search results panel. Do we see that in the markup we're trying to parse? Let's see. So we pulled this out. So there should be some button elements in there, right? Back over here to the editor. I do not see any buttons in there, but I don't know that I'm looking at the whole thing. Let's take a look. Yes, there are no buttons. Why would that be? Inside TW full width. Where is that in what we're scraping? There's a TW full width in that button class. You know what? I bet we're grabbing something else. I bet there are multiple simple bar content. But why wouldn't it be giving me an array of all of them? Don't save that. So simple bar content. We know we want a div called simple bar content. So let's start there. Div, simple bar content. And we want its child button called what? Ugh. These class names are horrible. Let's just try button. See if we get anything out of that. Run it. I didn't get anything that time. So it definitely doesn't like the change that I made. So let's back it up and see if adding the div in is getting it to grab the right element. It definitely has something to do with search. I'm pulling out only a single item. And it is the search results panel, which this definitely, I don't think is it. Let's go over here and take a look in the browser. Console. Was it? Document. Get element by class name. Let's see if we can pull that out. What is it though? Show it to me. Search result panel. Let's try using the class name that we're searching and make sure it is hitting on that. So simple bar content. Watch this be a spelling error. I'm gonna laugh at myself if it's a spelling error. Bam. So there are 6? Yeah, okay. So there are 6 of them throughout the page itself, and we are of course looking for the very last one. I wonder if there is a better way to pull those out. Let's try this. We started out with like, oh, that's getting it by class name. Do I have jQuery in this page that I can use? Dala? Yeah. Let's see. Is that actually going to give me anything? No. Gives me nothing. Because I don't have an element in there. Okay. So that's cool. Why didn't the button work? That is just giving me one button out of the first one. Is there an easier way to filter this stuff? So I want a div with the class simple bar content. Is there anything up in here that I can use to identify the div that I want? Team page body column left. That is some semantic UI right there, brother. Simple bar content with a button, but it's kind of nested inside a div. So I wonder if I come back and I say simple bar content, child of div, and a button. What is that giving me? Button, icon. I already know this is wrong because I should have several buttons coming back. So how many is it actually giving me? If I do the sample bar content div. Still hitting the search results. So, I mean, I could do something nasty like Let's just see if I can get the right one doing it this way. What is it? :nth. And I want the 5th one. Not a valid selector. It's like nth child? I think it is. CSS nth child. Yep. I'm not getting anything. 4. I'm only getting 1 back. I know there is clearly more than 1. Elements. Simple bar content. Maybe I'm approaching it the wrong way. Maybe what I want to get is the button classes. I wish there were more human-friendly class names in this that kind of describe the content better. Because I know if I grab a button with the class TW Interactive, I'm going to get a bunch of things from the page that don't make any sense for me. Huh. There is a button with a figure inside. That might be a better approach. So I want a button that has in its contents a figure node. Let's see if we can figure that one out. Might be a cleaner way to get it. So button should be a whole lot of buttons. What? What? Alright, clear all that mess. And I want jQuery. Give me your buttons. Button icons. What? Am I crazy right now? Shouldn't that be pulling back everything labeled button? Yeah, okay. So those buttons. Is there like some kind of crazy iframe in here? Here's my button. There's the simple bar content. Was that crazy, or did we have an array of simple bar contents earlier? I think we did. Let me try it one more time. That is not giving me an array. It's just grabbing the first one it finds. It's still just giving me one. Why would that be? Twitch TV body. Is that actually it? That does kind of indicate that there's an iframe that I'm not gaining access to. When I'm here. Why would that be? There's a top. Wow, we've got some folks watching me struggle. Yay. You guys could pitch in with some ideas. Let's see. Element. Let's come back over here to the editor. So we are getting something. And didn't we say earlier that we were getting the whole page? Right? Let's come back and go back to that. So I'm going to say, hey, give me the body of the page. Just everything. Show me what you're looking at. All right. So what do we got? I want to pull that out and actually take a look at it. Copy value. Yeah. There's the simple bar content. Is it the one that we're expecting? No, that's the whole reason, Digital Drummer, that I'm going down this route. If we go back over here to the browser, apparently the Events API is not exposed at all to end users. There's some people in here that are talking about, querying the GraphQL endpoint, which I may end up doing, but it's made very clear by the Twitch people in here that it's not supported. So I didn't want to do that and then have it change underneath me. So I'm just trying to futz around and scrape the values directly off the page that I want. I do have a simple bar content. There are two of them. Let's go look at the second one. That's the search result panel. And that looks like it's embedded in a bunch of JavaScript goo. So that is it. I almost want to bet that what is happening is there are multiple frames on this page. And I'm only getting the topmost one. I'm not getting the one where the content I'm after is at. How can I confirm that? Is there a way to look at the frames on a given page? Anybody know? So, isn't there like document.frames? Let's take a look. Document. Nope. How about on window? Window. Frames. Close. There's some goo in there. Frame element focus. It's an eye. Maybe frames.length. Let's take a look at that. Bang, there are 3 frames. So how do I know which one it is that I want? Is there any information I can pull off of frames? Like I can tell? Let's see. MDN frames. Frame list is a list of frame objects. It is similar to length. So items can be accessed using indexing. What about hanging off a frame element? Just the parent. So if we go back and look at Phantom, there is a way I can inject some JavaScript to execute on the page. What is a syntax for doing that? Maybe I can locate the right frame and pull it out that way. So let's see. That doesn't help. Let's look at the documents. Really? Give me some docs, brother. Okay. So, page object, page settings, page properties, page. I want to say it's evaluate. Yeah, there it is, evaluate. This is pretty cool. So, you can call the page object in your server-side code the method evaluate and pass it a JavaScript function. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to pass that function into the page itself and execute it as if it was client-side code, which is kind of cool. So we should be able to do that. Let's hop back over here to the editor. We're getting the page. We're parsing. Where's the parse at? Just parse team members. So we're calling that where get content. Then I'm passing it into team members. So I think I might want to do it like right here. So instead of returning the content, I want to page execute or evaluate. Evaluate. I'm going to pass it a function. And I'm going to say what? How are we accessing the frames? Off of Windows, right? Yeah, Windows frames. Window.frames. Spell it right. And let's start with the first one, which I imagine that's exactly what we were getting before. So page object, then console log HTML. Looks like it's going to hand me that HTML back. So this could actually just be a return statement. All right. It's going to come through, and then we're going to pause and parse team members and take a look at what we're getting and see if it's the content we want. Nothing. I didn't get nothing. Page evaluate, return Windows frames. Is that actually what it frames? Let's, oh yeah, I pulled one out. Let's send the whole thing back. See what we get. There's a lot of goo. What is that goo? What did I actually send back? It is the page object. Page URL. Good status. It's an object, so it's got to be this frames that I'm returning. And do we have an indexer in here anywhere? Entries. What's the document? Frame element. Frames is coming out, and why would there be a frames off the frames object? All right, let's take a step back. So we're getting the window frames. Let's take, we know there are at least 3, so I'm going to take the second one and get its inner HTML. I think that should work. Let's see where that goes. No. Not a... Alright, let's use the tried and true method of Googling that. God, I always feel like I fail when I have to result to Google. It's Phantom, CSS selectors. Let's see, get frame content, Phantom.js with iframes. How does he do it? Apparently frames count doesn't include the main frame, so add one. Page frame count. Oh, switch to frame. And then get its content. Let's give it a shot. Editor, so where are we at? We are looking at this evaluate statement. We're not really going to do that right at the moment. So let's pull that out. And we can loop over it, I guess. So const equals page dot frames count +1 according to this random Stack Overflow user. Oh, that's a pretty bad variable name. How about fcount? Sure. And then 4. I don't have a 4 macro. Okay. Let I equals 0. I less than fcount. I Helps if that was right. And then what I want to do is page dot switch to frame I. And then what was it we were doing earlier? It was page something about content. Where is it? Phantom, pull the content out, property. Page, property, content. And what am I going to do with this? I'm just going to store it somewhere. Let foo equals that. And then I'll iterate through and just look at the content and see what it is. All of this is probably going to be very broken, but I just want to find the frame that has the content I care about, and then I can just hard code it because this is throwaway code. So could not get page. Why is the status bonking? Const f count. Here, stop. Run it again. Why are we blowing up? All right, so I do have a page, and frame count is undefined. Of course. Thank you, random Stack Overflow guy. Frames count. What is off the page, though? Global? Nope. Local? Closure. Where's it at? There's my page. And what functions do you have? Team page, util, handler is evoked. Debug console. Page. Add cookie, clear cookie, close, constructor. Evaluate async. There is definitely a switch to frame. I don't see a property that's actually giving me the count of available frames, though. Did you guys see that? I don't see it. HI. Yeah, I don't see it either. But we can brute force it. That's cool with me. Because we know there's 3. So, give it to me. Yeah, sure. Digital Drummer, sorry. I'm wrapped up in the problem I'm trying to figure out. And maybe I'm rat holing a little bit, but let me pop back over to the browser real quick and I'll fill you in on what I'm working on. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a reference to all of the team members on this Live Coders team. I want to pull out their avatar image, their username, and there's actually a little indicator that shows you when they're live. I might want to pull that out as well to be able to indicate that the person's live. But the ultimate goal is I want to take those usernames and then query the individual events pages for each of those users and pull out the schedule that they're planning to broadcast in the future. The ultimate goal of that is that I want to be able to create like a little calendar for myself that shows me all of the people that I tend to watch that stream and the schedule that they're going to be streaming. And I want to use that calendar so that I can find spots or gaps for me to schedule myself to stream that doesn't conflict with people that have like 300 watchers, you know. So let's see, document query selector, list scrollable container, get elements by tag name button. You're saying hand that off to the evaluate method for the page in Phantom. That's a really good idea. I'm going to grab that code and I'm just going to comment it out up here. The problem that I'm currently running into, though, is that when the code that I had before, it was giving me rendered page HTML from React, but what it was giving me was an iframe that didn't have the content that I'm trying to get at. Right? Yeah, okay. Well, let's take a look in here. Elements, console. And so you're just saying that I can pull that information out directly using the browser there, and it should show me all the buttons. Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to get. But I want to get it server side, and I want to be able to hand it any team page and have it be able to render me a calendar showing me that team schedule for, say, the upcoming week, right? So anyway, back over here to my editor. Let's go ahead and step through. I want to break right there at the end of the loop. It's not going to let me, you bastard. Okay. So come on down. It did let me switch to that frame. What is the content of foo? Of course. Let foo. Stop that. Run it again. Are you kind of clear on what it is I'm trying to do, Digital Drummer? Yeah, absolutely. I've already made a Git repo at the very beginning. Anything that I actually accomplish in this stream, I'll commit, and you guys can take it and do whatever you'd like with it. Yeah. So, let's see. Pop it on through there. Let's see what the content of foo is. Promise pending. What? Let's look at my locals. Where's my foo? Give me my foo. Closure. I didn't declare foo globally, did I? Let foo. It has some stuff. Show it to me. There it is. Foo is a promise. That's interesting. That's kind of to be expected, I guess, because it's having to asynchronously go and get that. So let's do it this way. We are going to then tents. That we can get rid of that. I wonder if switch to frame is a promise as well, and I need to change those, chain those. Yeah. Stay on task. Solve one problem at a time, sir. All right, don't need that breakpoint. So just to be clear, right now, and pretty much this entire stream, what I've been focused on is just getting at the data that I want. And let's see, my status should be success. Why did it blow up on me? Count. I don't really need this F count thing, so I'm just gonna make that a 3. So I'm iterating over. Want to break there. I suspect trying to chain this property is causing me to bonk. Oh, I didn't save. Save, brother. So, Digital Drummer, what I was hoping to get to is at some point having created a serverless endpoint that you could hand it a team page and it would hand you back a JSON object of the schedule for all those team members. I think that would be pretty cool. So going to frame 0, I'm getting the content. content. It is not pulling it out. Alright, so walking through that. Should be pulling that content out. Where you at, brother? And then it blew up probably because I went outside the index. But did I actually dump anything to the console? Debug console. I don't see anything going to the console. It is an error. What error? Could not get page. Uh-oh. I may have been working at this so long that I'm getting throttled. Oh, that's literally the error that I'm using. So, where is it failing? Well, okay. We will strip some of this out. Let's make it simpler. I don't need to loop. I do just want to get the content. So I'm going to just start with, okay, let's assume that we're originally getting the 0 frame. So I'm going to start with the second frame. All right, and I'm going to try to grab that content. It's going to come into parse team members, and I'll hit a breakpoint. So then we can inspect the actual frame content and see if it's a frame or after. Go. All right, what did I get? Okay, that looks HTML-y to me. So let's dump it out and take a look at it. Simple bar content says there are 2. That's the search result panel. Is not what we're looking for. Padding, justify. We're also looking for button. That is not the right frame. That is definitely not the right frame. So stop that one. That actually looks like the frame we had been getting all along. So, hey, debugger, die. Go away. Go away. Here we go. Let's try the octoclicker thing again. Break, 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 break. Sure. Hey, it died. Yay. So stop that. Where are we at? I'm going to, just for the sake of not finding out at the very end, it was the first frame that I cared about. I'm going to start with that one. It doesn't look like the second frame is it. So go, page, copy. I wonder why the debugger is just freaking out on me. Go ahead and let it complete. New. All right. That looks like the raw HTML that's served up by them. What was the element again that I'm looking for? Let's see. It is simple bar content. Let's see if we can find it in this mess. Nope, not there. So it's definitely not that frame. Doesn't seem to be the second frame, so process of elimination, the third. All right, go for it. I guess go ahead and octoclicker on your debugger in Visual Studio Code is probably not a good idea. I might have to nuke this instance and reopen it. It's choked. No debugger adapter found. Node launch index. Try it one more time. Hey, it paused. Okay, switch to page 2. Trio, here's my page. There's a lot of goo in there. I guess I can just copy value. No, not T. New. Simple bar content. Search results. Div class. Simple bar content. Team page body. That might be it. No, that's the search results. Div. Are there any buttons in here? No, that's definitely not it. Back buttons. Search. Some kind of drop down menu. I know that C# Fritz is on this page. Why don't I look for that? That's definitely not it then. Well, according to that guy, there should be another one. Let's give that a try. Copy the value. Not there either. Am I getting different content? I don't necessarily see that I'm getting different content. Don't save. Close. Come on. I think I know what may be going on. Phantom. I wonder if that switch is also a promise and I'm not waiting for it. Oh, come on. All right, get out of here. Yeah, I'm not sure why code is being goofy on me. So I'm restarting it. All right. Nope, that's definitely not it. Q. Let's see, you guys can't see what I'm doing. So back over to my terminal. Yep, that's what we're working on. Back over to my editor. Can you guys see that okay? No, it is the wrong window. So we are looking for this one. There we go. Let's get it to fit in my little block here. Close enough. So I am actually going to stop doing this right now because I think it's what's causing my debugger to hork. And I'm just going to dump whatever I get from the page. I'm going to take a look at whatever is coming out of it and get rid of all these breakpoints until I can find the page that I'm looking for. So where were we? Out of there. Switch to frame. I almost guarantee that is a promise. So then I'm not sure what that's going to give me. Foo. Breakpoint right there. Back into my debugger. Where did it blow up? Is it in switching to page 3? Because frame 3 doesn't exist. That is a distinct possibility. Global. Do I have an error that I can look at? Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what the problem is. So I'm just going to back this off to 0. Give it a go again. All right. It did not break in the promise, which is interesting. Still give me the same thing? Oh, it stopped completely. Why'd you stop? Let's see. Launch that program. All right. So switch to frame. Okay, so it's throwing when I try to switch to frame. Why is that? I just want to capture that and take a look at it. Oh, I see what's going on. I'm not returning anything. And so it's just falling through to this throw statement. Oh, man. See, this is what happens when you flail. You just start making stupid little innocent mistakes that have nothing to do with what you're trying to accomplish. So let's see, get rid of that too. Where am I at? That's my if statement. Page switch to frame. What I really need was a return statement right here, because I'm returning the entire promise, including the nested one right there. So get rid of those breakpoints, clean that up a little bit. I do want to stop right there to see what the value handed into me from switch to frame is. If there's any valuable information that's being handed off to my my callback handler. Okay, hey, that's what I was expecting 5 minutes ago. So there's a false. I want to find the docs for this package. What package am I using? Just Phantom. So let's come on over here. Documentation, Phantom.js. API. I don't think that's the one I'm using, though. That's not what I'm using. Get out of there. Close some of these windows. So this one that I'm using. So let's go take a look at it. Phantom.js node. Documents in GitHub. Okay. Thanks, man. Show me the rendered documents. Thank you. And the method we're calling is switch frame, which is going to be on the page object. Switch to frame. Switch to main frame. Switch to frame. So I'm right. It is a promise. So that's good. So I need to do something with that frame. Frame position or name. I wish I had a way of, or there probably is a way to find the names of the frames that are being set up, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to mess with it. So frame 0, then we're going to return the content. So back over here to my editor. What am I going to do with that content? I'm going to go to parse team members, and that's just going to dump it out to the console log. So let's take a look. Debug. There's a bunch of goo. Bunch of goo in there too. So okay, so we are getting a frame. I'm going to get rid of that breakpoint, and I'm just going to run through each of the frames that I'm aware of and inspect their content like I was a couple minutes ago. I'm going to break there. Thank you. All right. Here's my page. This new. That is definitely not what I wanted. Thank you. Copy that value. All right. There are two. This has to do with search results. The other one is definitely not what we're looking for either. So that's not it. Go ahead and continue. Wow. Come on. My debugger is just being a huge pain today. Go away. Not even going to show me what it is. Don't save that. Go away, debugger. Go away. Come back up here to 1. Okay. So none of the other buttons worked, but restarting the debugging session worked. Thanks. All right, so that does look different than the previous one. Just copy that value, and then I'm going to stop. Not that. New. That's the search results again. Ugh. I did change it, right? Yeah, switch to frame 1. Let's make sure I didn't do something tarded. Looks like my wife is trying to call me. I'm going to put you guys on pause for a second, get a beverage, and talk to her. So enjoy this video of my dog. All right, I'm back. Hopefully, I didn't leave you guys waiting too long, and you enjoyed the photo collage of my dog. That's pretty epic. Let's see. We've got a few people in here that I haven't interacted with, so that might be confused about what it is I'm trying to do. The purpose of this stream wasn't to show you how to fail at JavaScript. The purpose of this stream, where I started at, was I wanted to scrape the team page on Twitch TV to get a list of team members for a given team that I could then use to loop over and grab each of those team members' events page for a future date, right? And then pull back, use something like Cheerio to parse through all of that HTML and give me back a JSON object that represents the individual team members and like a calendar listing of all their upcoming events. And the reason that I'm doing that is that Twitch doesn't offer events through the Twitch API. So I started out with a script that I wrote last year at NodeConf Argentina that basically did what I wanted it to do, right? It used requests to grab a URL, and then it used Cheerio to parse through and pull out some information about the events at that particular conference. I was like, that's exactly what I want to do, basically. So I started with this script, and we worked on that for a little while until we discovered that Cheerio is not a web browser. I mean, that's it says it very clearly in their documentation. It is not a web browser. So if the web page that you are fetching requires the page to actually execute and all the JavaScript on it to execute for the DOM to be in a state to where it's queryable by Cheerio, Cheerio is not going to do any of that. It just expects you give me some raw HTML and I will, give you a nice jQuery like syntax to scroll through the stuff. So Cheerio suggests if you do need like a full featured browser to be able to do stuff, they suggest using Phantom.js or JS DOM. So what you've been watching for about the last hour is me figure out how to use Phantom.js to get at the page content that I want on the Twitter stream or the Twitter team page to get the information that I want to send into Cheerio to then do the parse. And I've been kind of rat holing on that. And now let's continue down the rat hole. So back over here to the editor. And I do believe the piece that I was working on earlier was I've identified a way to switch to each of the individual frames for a page. I haven't figured out how to get a listing of the frames that are there or even a count. That doesn't seem to work. So I'm just kind of manually going through trying to identify the frames that I want. I'm basically saying, hey, page, switch to frame 1 and get the content of that page and dump it out to the console. So let's do it methodically, one step at a time until we find the frame that has the content in it that we want. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm starting over again fresh because I don't remember what we did before the break because I have the attention span of a gnat. Okay, so let's just go ahead and run that. And you know what? I don't need any breakpoints, so I'm just going to dump it out to the console here. And then we can look around in it. So clear npm start. Bam. Okay, so there's all of our content for frame 0. Wow, I really should just dump that to a text file, but I don't want to take the time to look it up right now. So let's just keep plugging along. All right. And now let's see if we can find C# Fritz, because that's a good test case. And he is definitely not on this page, and he's the first member of the list on the team page. So I think we can safely say that frame 0 is not the one we're looking for. So let's go back up. We'll bump it up to frame 1. And then run this puppy again. No, that is not what I wanted. There we go. This looks suspiciously like what we were just looking at. Doc type. Initial. Well, let's run our test real quick. Here I was just thinking I could just raw dog this out without having to do a bunch of unit tests and like professional quality development. Just do some hacking. And I am just failing miserably. No C# frets. That does shockingly look like exactly what we got in frame 1. I'm going to leave these open. And then we can do a comparison of them later on. So let's go back to 0. We're going to run that puppy again. All right, there it is. Holy crap. That definitely looks like a more, right, than the other file. So let's see. Doc type, initial. That's interesting. Why is this one color coded and the other one isn't? So much fun. OG site name, Twitch. It doesn't look like we're actually doing anything by switching frames. So if I hop back over here to my browser and I refresh this page, console, window, frames, length. It says there are 3 frames. Switching to them isn't really getting me anything though. Window, frames, 0. Is that 0? What's that going to get me? Global location closed, false. Nope. Lock the frame with origin Twitch from accessing across origin frame. That might be a hidden frame that's pulling in stuff like Google Analytics. That's interesting. 9. Location. Open our parent. There is a document. Not letting me get that one either. 2. What the hell? That is not what I asked for. Thank you. Not letting me get at that one either. I think I may be stabbing myself in the foot. Document query selector, member list, scrollable container. Get elements by tag name buttons. Huh. considering taking a step back and just trying to access this stuff in the way that Digital Drummer suggested. Like, I'm spinning way too hard on this, and it could be just a completely false road. Because when I do that, I get a bunch of buttons, right? Why wouldn't I get them out of the Phantom instance as well? First child. Is that it? Here. We're going to go bar buttons equal this. All right, got a bunch of buttons. Buttons. Let's take the first one. Inner HTML. That is a profile image. And it is C# Fritz. That is exactly what I want. So let's come back to the editor and try going down that road instead of what I was previously doing, because that is definitely not working. So page evaluate. Like that. And we're going to say this. Buttons. That. Turn. Let's just grab the first one and see what we get. So then we're going to go through team members. So it's going to dump it out right there. Throw a breakpoint there. And let's see what happens. Am I doing that right? So create, we get an instance, we open the page, and then if the status we get from opening that page is success, we're going to return an evaluate statement on the page that should return the first button. All right, let's give that a go. No, nothing. Not a damn thing. Let's try this just to make sure. Right. Throw me a breakpoint there. Could do one here as well, but I'm not sure it's going to break. Like this function, it's actually pushing through to the Phantom instance. I don't think it'll allow me to have a breakpoint in there. That would just be too convenient. But I'll give it a shot and see what happens. Yeah, see, it didn't. So foo, what do you got? You got nothing. Okay. So let's return the whole thing. I'm still getting nothing. I must be doing the evaluate wrong. What is the evaluate syntax? All right. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. It seems pretty straightforward. It's not that difficult. Let's get rid of this and just return the inner HTML. Of anything. Document query selector. Memberless scrollable container. Sure. All right, did I get anything? No, nothing. I don't know. You guys have any ideas? I'm kind of stuck. What else can I do? This statement doesn't seem to be returning anything. Can we get it to return anything? Let's see. How about window? What is it that we need? Like just window inner HTML or document inner HTML. Get element by tag name and return the body. Let's do that. Editor. All right. Well, we have something. There is a length of 1. What did it give me back? There is an inner HTML. Div ID root. So I got something back from that. That's a positive development. Let's try that one more time. All right. No, foo is null now. That's not what I wanted. I'm not sure what type of object I'm getting back from this evaluate function. What does the doc say about it? Page object. Using evaluate is similar to passing a function above. For example, to return HTML of an element, you can do pretty much exactly what I just did. I'm getting elements by tag name. What other options do I have? Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work. So let's try it again. And I want to actually grab the content of foo and take a look at it. All right, so here's foo. There's one item in it. There is inner HTML associated with foo. I want to copy that value. It's the same stuff that I get back every single time. Like, I keep approaching this from different directions and get the exact same results. It's like the anti-crazy. You know, crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I'm doing different things and getting the same result, and it is very much confusing me. This so much looks like if I go over here to my browser and I just view like the page source, like this is literally what comes back from Twitch. It looks like this is what I'm getting. I'm not getting the rendered content, right? From the React app itself. React model portal. Is that in there? I don't see that in there. But that also might be outside the body tag, because I'm specifically grabbing the body tag, right? Script, just a great big old bag of goo. There's like nothing in there of value that I can parse out. Does that look different to you guys? Back over here to the editor. I mean, there is just a big glob of crap in there. Div ID root. Come on up here. Do I have a div in there? Where is the body? Here is the body. Div ID root. Goes immediately into a style. What are you guys looking at? You guys are looking at my editor. So div ID root, div class, something absolute. I wonder if that is a big glob of style information in there. Shell nav. Yeah, nothing. Well, I don't think I'm going to make much more progress today. So I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead and enjoy the rest of the day. Maybe go play with my dog. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a little while and seeing if I can work through this particular problem. And the answer is on a Sunday at 1:36 in the afternoon. Looks like a no. Looks like it's just not going to happen. So let's see who is out there broadcasting right now that is available for a raid, because I want to help some people out and give them some viewers. All like 3 of you guys. So let's see. Ellaface looks like she's broadcasting right now. And Lena Lux is broadcasting. I've been watching Lena a lot recently, and I really like what she's doing. She's a game developer who actually builds her own in-game assets as well. And the assets are like professional quality stuff. So any requests? Hey, Head of Shooter. How's it going? Thanks for joining. If you just popped in, we are wrapping up a 2.5 hour fail stream where I did not accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish. And sometimes development is like that, you know. I've been a software developer for about 18 years. And, you know, some days you know exactly what it is you want to write and you just bang it out in half an hour and it works perfectly. And some days you just do a bunch of flailing, poking around, reading documentations, reading docs and poking at APIs, and it just doesn't quite come together for you. One of the things that I found, though, is that when I get into that situation, push a little bit, try to get through and get done to what you want. But sometimes just walking away from the problem, letting it stew in your subconscious, you'll find it. I've had situations where I worked all day trying to figure out a bug. I leave for the day, go home, maybe have a couple nightcaps, sleep, and I have a dream about the problem and what I should do, right? Yeah, Brave Cobra, I'm wrapping up. I'm about to hand you guys over to either Elliface or Lena Lux. If you guys have input on that, let me know which one you prefer to go to. But anyway, it was kind of fun. I poked around. I learned some stuff about Phantom.js. I wish my original plan of using just React to query would have worked, because I think we would have knocked this out today. I will pick it back up at a later date because it is a problem I want to solve, and maybe I will do some tests on my own to figure out how to use Phantom.js against a React app. I bet if I Googled that specific phrase, I would have found something useful. So anyway, hey, Brave Cobra, you want to fire up your stream, and I will pass everybody off to you if you want. I'm down for that. How many do we have right now anyway? In my dashboard, how many does it say I have viewing me? 4. So, it's like a WoW dungeon raid. It's not really a big, in-game raid or anything like that. So, all right, man. Bring your channel up, and I will forward everybody off over to you. And while you're doing that, you guys can watch this lovely video of my hometown, Olympia, Washington.
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we have the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. Let's go through with it. What do you want? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing,